to actually talk on stream.
I know, seriously. I might actually have something to say this game.
What are you gonna talk about? This will be a little bit Dota related, so.
I want to ask the question about Canada. That's what I'm going to do.
Alright, you play it.
I'm going to do that.
I will ask this.
Yeah, you know about that. I know nothing about that.
I'm excited to talk about it. Actually, I was talking with about this, and I was surprised. I was just like, "What? This doesn't sound like it's right." I was
So
sure.
what's the basic gist of it?
Are we live?
No. But we are, but our mics are muted, so it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because they've never been. The gist of it is that Riot has chose to they run a tournament, right? And through the tournament they determine the best teams across the two regions, EU and Russia, or America. And what happens is they get 8 teams from each league, and then those teams then get bumped into the LCS, which is the Riot, the Riot League. And that league, those players can only play in that league. Nobody else is allowed to use any of them for anything. They can't cast any of their games. So Riot owns exclusivity to those top 16 players from the 2 major regions. And so what's happening is community casters, like us but for LoL, will have nothing to do but cast lower tier teams. Or middle tier teams, and they don't get as much fanfare, you don't get as many jobs, you don't get as many opportunities, you have to take that on. So,
Valve's doing it differently?
Well, Valve is completely open. They're reliant on community casters in many ways. They have tons of tournaments and people throw them, and community casters are rewarded. They can do things with every team that wants to sign up. It's not like Valve owns the top teams and then you can only cast, like Valve are the only people that can cast Invictus Game, Navi, and all the music teams. It's not like that. So some people are complaining that it's killing the LoL community casting thing, and they're saying, well, what's going to happen when Riot needs to hire new casters? Nobody's going to be around. Everybody's going to be upset. But in the meantime, all the people that have been hired by Riot having a time of their life and having huge stream numbers, making it rain. So I'll be interested later on to get John's take on community casting in the Valve circuit and how that's treating him and how he feels Valve is treating casters and the community at large. But don't tell him.
Don't answer that.
Oh man, I got a bottle from that. I think something.
The water's not even cold. I'm so sorry.
Turn this cold. It is ridiculously hot, but how is it hot in New York? Do you live in New York?
We had random thunderstorms today, so it was definitely humid, and then all of a sudden, bang, thunderstorm, and now it's always hot in my room, so it's really bad when I'm casting for like 6 hours straight, but we make do.
Gotta do what you gotta do for esports.
It's literally the only room in the house that doesn't get like the full force of the air conditioning. It's brutal.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Super hot in Toronto with under extreme heat advisories. Probably not going to rain until Wednesday, so we're in it for a while.
You get non-stop rain.
Well, at least the rain gets really humid.
Sometimes.
Oh, I should like this page.
Or you could do the intro, Frank, one or the other.
Is it ready?
It's so ready. It's ready for about 10 seconds.
Guys, Dota 2 is serious business.
That was the worst one yet.
What's up? I'm
NYJohn.
I'm American, and even I watch EsportsCanadaTV.
Thanks for talking over NYJohn's nice little intro video I had prepared.
Sorry, John.
Which John? Both of us?
John Hogan. The only John I like. You listen to me, brother.
Boom. Oh, I didn't update the ticker. Off to a great start as usual. Welcome everybody to Esports Canada TV, episode number 41. One more, and we've reached the number of presidents there are in U.S. history. Just a small
Whoa.
tidbit. I like to drop
All
facts.
the American facts. Why?
I like to drop facts. It's slowly becoming Esports America TV. Not sure if you noticed. Our American guests, the numbers have shot through the roof. Just want to point that out. I am your host, at Quinn, and at John Quinn. You can follow me on Twitter, or not. I'm not the boss of you. My bosses are to my right and left. Mr. Frank Ricci. Frank, how you doing this evening?
Very well, thank you very much. And how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I had a lovely weekend. I watched my father get married. It was a joyous occasion.
That's great.
Peter,
Congratulations to him.
shout outs to Peter Quinn. You can follow him at Quinn of the Net on Twitter.
Wait a second.
Set up.
And my other lovely co-host, Nick Saunders. Nick, how you doing?
I am a sweat factory.
You are a sweat
you
factory.
wearing your ladder shirt, Nick?
No, like my ladder shirt's in the wash. I was going
damn.
But,
so you actually wear that outside of laddering?
It's a little embarrassing, but sometimes you do what you gotta do when you have no clothes left.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, everyone, we have a very special episode. Usually we do talk about StarCraft. Other games do tend to seep in. You have your Leagues of Legends, your fighting games, and tonight it will be your Dotas. Because our guest from across the border, who we all had the pleasure of meeting this year in March at LAN ETS, Mr. NYJohn, also known as John Hogan. John, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to be here. We talked about this at LAN ETS, maybe getting on sometime, so it's good to actually be here and on the show. I'm excited for what you guys have in store for me, and a little nervous.
Well, don't get too excited.
Doesn't even know.
It's rare that plans follow through, both personally and with Esports Canada. So I'm glad that we told you could be on the show, and then you actually made it on.
I like the hot little Dota in the bottom right-hand corner.
You like that? I was panicking because usually I just use like the logo of like the organization the person's with or the logo of the race they play in StarCraft. And then I panicked because I was like, do champions have logos? Are they called champions? What is Dota? And so I warned John before the show started that I'm not in any way schooled in Dota as of right now. I did play once on stream, and it was up there with the most embarrassing moments of my life. And so yeah, I went with the general Dota logo, and I hope that is in fact the Dota logo.
Good for you, John.
Verified. It's good.
But we will cut to the chase, John, because I want to hear all you have to say. So let's start with the easy stuff. Where are you from? Where do you live now? And how'd you get involved with esports?
I'm from New York. I live in New York, and I got involved with Dota because longtime fan of all of the Dota games and its successors along the line. I played Dota All-Stars for quite some time, and when Dota dropped in 2011, I believe it is now, I got in pretty early in the beta around November that year and started playing a lot, scrimming actively, of course, and stuff like that. And then realized I wanted to transition over and start doing some casting. So 2012, I believe, I started casting, and I've been casting on and off since then and having a good time with it. So figured I might as well do it as a hobby on the side, and it has definitely been enjoyable thus far.
And so you were a big Dota fan before. How involved were you with the kind of budding esports scene at that time? Was it you were just watching streams sort of thing, or was it you were just playing and didn't really know about the whole competitive scene behind it?
I was very cognizant of the competitive scene in like most games because I was a fan. Of course, the international one had already happened, and that was huge. And back in the day, I was a big fan of Dota in general. So, I mean, 2010, Chinese Dota really started coming over to the West when eHome was the dominant team. So I'd been following actively for a long time. And I feel like Dota has always been that game that it only is competitive. Like you play casually, but you really want to achieve the competitive level or at least follow it because it's just, I don't know, it just gives you like that next level of enjoyment to really get going and play in matchups against other teams. So I've always just been actively seeking out who is better and looking at them and following them and watching them.
And were you involved with other scenes as well? I know a lot of our guests come on and they may be into StarCraft or League of Legends now, but so many of them got involved with like CS 1.6 back in the day or like Quake, anything like that. Were you Dota only or were you pretty versed in all of the games out there?
I know Heroes of New Earth and League of Legends, but outside of that genre, really, not so much. After I got into Dota, I started looking a little bit more at StarCraft, a little bit more at CS 1.6, which I was definitely late to the party on that one. But not really anything else. It's just been that kind of 5 versus 5 team-based ARTS genre that's really been what has intrigued me thus far. But now I do like a lot more. I like watching StarCraft. I particularly like the team leagues, and there's absolutely no way you could do a team league like that in Dota just because of the structure. But I wish there was because it's so fun.
Every time you lose, you have to kick one team member out. So
Yeah.
it's 4v5, 2v5.
Oh, it's the snowball effect.
Yeah. You called it an ARTS? I've never heard. I've heard MOBA a bunch. What is A? Is it just arena real-time strategy? What is the A?
Action.
Action?
Action real-time strategy, and just sounds cooler. Arts
Arts?
than MOBA, because I don't know. There's a lot of people don't like MOBA. It's like an action or an active real-time strategy where you're just at it the whole time. I don't know. Someone came up with it, and I just took it. It sounds cooler, so we roll with it.
Very
But,
well.
yeah.
I'm sure all the StarCraft players are so upset.
Yeah. What you mean? There's no action in our games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's it. I watched a lot of them. And
StarCraft, just macro, no action.
who was I watching the other day? They call them the 7-base Zerg or something. It's really slow. I don't know.
Man, European Terrans. I can't watch European Terrans. It's just the slowest, like macro-based. It's so boring.
That's
So
how China used to
boring.
be in Dota, like way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be like 7 kills a team, and then something would break and a base would die, but no heroes would die at all. It was Rice Dota.
Speaking of
Right.
that, just because you brought it up, when a long time ago when they were making the patches in Dota to try to fix that, changing how much you get per kills and rewarding that as opposed to just farming all day. How do you feel that's actually changed like the game of Dota? Do you think it's actually become more action oriented the way I feel those patches were meant to make it, or is it pretty much still the same thing? You still have your teams that prefer the farming and will sit there for 20 minutes farming neutrals?
I mean, both ways are going to have their ups and downs. Of course, you don't want to take too many risks, but the game has definitely shifted over to a place where proactive teams can't just get boxed out, so to speak, and get absolutely destroyed when you get to later stages of the game. So IceFrog has done a good job of really bringing back that active role where you can play with that ganker, which is what some of the Asian like to call that 3 slot, which is what I like to call utility player. They like to perform something in a team fight, not necessarily 100% focused on getting farm. And they can get in and really create stuff happening. Think of heroes like Clockwork, who can hookshot into the middle of fights instead of having a really defensive outlook and maybe abandoning that lane early on, because the game has just become a better pace. And overall, every single patch seems to be building towards that, except the most recent patch, which buffed Treant Protectors. He has a living armor that's global and makes heroes indestructible, but
I still miss
it
his
does
living
make
eyes.
heroes want to fight people. So
I miss
I don't
his eyes in the forest. Man, I used to cover an entire
those used to be
forest.
so OP. They're
Oh, so good.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you could cover literally your entire half of the map and you'd never get ganked ever, right? So.
Pub gives you
Also,
still the whole
ulti used to
map.
do damage.
Yo, you know what they should do? They should release both the Dota All-Star hero and the new hero into like a version of the map, and you could like play them either one. That'd be crazy. Would that be crazy and balanced though?
Might be. I mean, you remember
the
some of
same
the
map.
older heroes, man. Like from before Dota, like before they got into All Stars, you had like Ricky, who the stealth assassin used to have this thing called a Death Ward. He used to have Witch Doctor's Death Ward on him, and like all that stuff. But that would be cool. It would be cool map.
Should be a mod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Death Ward, you just plant it and it kills every hero.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So, John, why don't you tell us, why did you choose casting? Obviously, you love the game and you love to play it, and you wanted to get like more and more competitive. But why get into the casting side of it? And when did you find out you were so good?
I like that.
Be modest.
I like that intro.
I want to see some
So-
humility.
I was casting, and I was kind of just casting pub games with no viewers and stuff, of course. That's how everyone starts. And I was doing it for a couple, maybe 1 or 2 games a day. And I just listened to myself and see if I liked it or not. I've always been a fan of pro sports. So think of people, kind of sports commentators, more so radio commentators, because most of the people you see on TV now are really trash. But nonetheless, subtle shot. But moving on. So eventually, at one point, there's a competition called SECS Sunday Evening Cup Series. NA Dota does it every week. And back in the early stages of the beta, it was like littered with talent. Almost every player there is on a pro team now, and it really has gone away from those roots a little bit. Even European players would play just to have some regularity in getting involved, and they would let anyone cast. So it was a really good opportunity, and I casted it once, and I got a good response. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep doing this, and I just kept casting that small stuff, and eventually that summer, which was last year already now, which is hard to fathom that it's already been a year, I started doing a little bit more in terms of one of the Fnatic tournaments and getting involved here and there, wherever I can really, and taking whatever opportunities were given to me. So it just evolved from that basic point.
Nice. And now you're casting some pretty amazing events. And as a caster, I mean, like you said, you take anything you can get. So there's actually something that I wanted to bring up. Over the weekend, I was talking to Forecourt Jester, a caster for the LoL community. And he was explaining to me about the LCS and how it's run, and how Riot basically runs a tournament, gets the best players from certain regions, puts them into this team league, and then they have full rights to those teams. So basically, the top teams that qualify for this, they can only be casted by Riot employees. So he feels that it's in many ways, it's killing the community of casters. It's because nobody can get high numbers, and all the people are just watching the LCS because that's where you get the best teams, right? So give me your take on how Valve is treating the community. I mean, obviously there's the workshop with all the community involvement. There's just the community page in general. And how are casters and the community in general, how is Valve treating them, do you feel?
So for the most part, no one can really complain because Valve has done a good job of integrating certain things into the game and allowing casters to get involved and also get some recognition. First off, there's like 6 broadcaster slots. So I know for the Canada Cup tournament, we fill all of those. We have different languages going out. We have different English casters just so everyone gets a shot at it and other people can try and get heard. And it really is a great opportunity. I'd like to see more tournaments do that where they can offer a variety of casters and let the fans pick who they want to listen to.
Yeah.
It shouldn't necessarily be just exclusive. Like, let them feel it out a little bit more. I don't mind competition at all, obviously. So that's not a big deal. But Valve does that. They make sure everything's smooth. If you think back to the origins of League of Legends, it wasn't always very easy for people to get in games and cast them. So
Right.
Valve have been on board with casters since the get-go, really. They wanted to make sure this game was on the forefront in terms of being able to stream it, being able to watch the competition, because they know that's what it's about. And if you think about what they've done with the tickets, they put forth a system where if you have a tournament and your tournament has a prize pool, it doesn't have to be a tremendous prize pool. It has to be something, though, because otherwise every single tournament ever will be on it. But if you have a prize pool, you can try and get a ticket and you can put yourself in the client. So the client will show when your tournament is live. The ticket will be available in the store, and some of the proceeds from the ticket will go back to the organizers. So what it's done is allowed organizers like Dota2.ca, who host the Dota 2 Canada Cup, to actually put forth their own private money into this, because there's no sponsors at all. It's just them. They put their own hard-earned cash into the prize pool, and whatever the ticket proceeds will be will alleviate the burden a little bit. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. They're not going to end up running away like tyrants and fool the whole scene. It really is just going to help them a little bit in terms of easing their loss, but they can get some kind of gains in terms of visibility or views. These are direct numbers you can translate over to sponsors for future events.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot going on that's helping tournament organizers on that end, and it translates up to the bigger tournaments as well. We see teams having stuff like the special couriers, special skins, whatever, and you can of course equip those, and people love those. So $15 tickets, all of a sudden these bigger tournaments want to get more involved. The only thing that I have to say about that relative to League of Legends is that League of Legends is at a place right now where they've been prominent for over 2 years, 3 years, really. So they have this super oversaturation.
Yeah.
And eventually, sponsors are going to realize, hey, Dota does what League does, but they help us in that effort, really, by allowing us to not only monetize through the game, but also get more visibility by putting people up in the client as well. So I think in 6 months, maybe a year, there will be some sort of oversaturation in the clients. So we'll be in a similar situation, but still, Valve is doing more to help out the smaller guy in the long run by just having that infrastructure in place.
Yeah, one of the toughest things whenever you want to start a tournament is where's the money going to come from? Sponsors aren't willing to just jump on board just because you think you have a really good product. Canada Cup was lucky enough to secure you as a caster. It's just difficult for anybody starting out. So I like how Valve does that. They have their almost innate crowdfunding source right built into the system. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool cool system, and we'll probably end up talking more about the Canada Cup in a few. But how about also another thing that Forecourt was mentioning is the UI in Valve. So obviously Valve has the jump in that they created the UI a little bit after LoL, and LoL is maybe a little bit behind in the times. But how critical is the interface in Dota to support your casting or to facilitate your casting? What do you feel some of the like great advancements that are there?
Well, I think there's a whole lot going on in the UI in terms of what you can make the most out of. We obviously have the basic stuff like the graphs that shows gold lead, and you can pop them up whatever you want. Of course, last hits and stuff going through that, but they've added even more in terms of production UI, so you can throw on little tabs that say notes, I believe, in client now. I'm not sure if it's all fully in yet. I haven't really tested it because I don't have a producer, unfortunately. If anyone's looking for that role, I guess you can have it, but it's not paid. You're just going to have to follow me around and be my lackey, essentially. But getting back to the question, it also brought in stuff. So, like, it's going to give you a pop-up when an item is purchased now. So it's helping out casters because instead of furiously going around and clicking on all 10 heroes at every single moment, it shows me that, oh, let's say the Vice is up on Queen of Pain now, and I can turn my attention to that and actually focus on the relevancy of that. So it really is cool, and they keep building on it. So it's nice the way that they're consistently working towards benefiting everyone in that regard, because it helps the viewers and the casters.
Yeah, it's so true. I still remember the first time I saw the Dota countdown timer, and the Roshan countdown timer, and I'm like, that's so brilliant, because otherwise, like, an observer who doesn't necessarily play that much will not know, and who's really timing it from watching the series, right? So yeah, I thought they were doing some really cool things with the UI.
So actually, let's talk a little bit about the tournament you've been casting recently. You've been casting the Canada Cup. Maybe, John, you could talk a little bit about what the Canada Cup is, promote it a little bit, and how did you get involved with it?
So the Canada Cup, this is the second or third one they've done. The first one was no prize pool, maybe some kind of like perks or sets or something. I don't know what they give out, but obviously it didn't have the prize pool that this one has. And I was just sitting at home doing nothing, and one of my Steam friends, a guy named Hero, messaged me. He's like, we're playing this tournament. We actually think we're going to win. Do you want to come in and cast it? And he talked to the admin, who was a really nice guy, and they just let me in. So I started casting it, and then all of a sudden I got this like rousing support from the community around it. So I was like, well, this is really cool, and I appreciate it. And we kept in contact after that tournament concluded. My friend's team actually didn't win, so shame on him for underestimating the opposition. But we kept in contact, and we went on to talk and discuss the fact that he wanted to throw another tournament, this time with a prize pool. So he's actually put forth, him and his owner of Dota2.ca or something like that, put forth $750, which, you know, with no sponsors is a lot of money to just throw out there.
Sure.
And it actually is an invite tournament. They have 16 teams to start, and it's pretty cool because they broke it up into group stages, but it's not like a prolonged league. Like, we're not drawing this out. We're making it a nice tournament where we're going to get to see good games along the way. But some of these leagues nowadays, over 4 months, 4 months for even a couple $1,000s is still a long time, and you're playing a lot of games and dedicating time. This is condensed. It's a 15-day tournament. We get to see positive games, a lot of new faces in these teams. The old adage has been that North America has always been one of the most individually talented Dota continents, and South America included in that. A lot of high-skill players, but they just
Brazil's
don't have
so
the
good.
Teamwork.
Brazil
Well, Peru. Brazil's struggling a little bit, let's be honest. Venezuela's doing decent too. Okay. But yeah, so there's a lot of individually skilled players,
Right.
and we're getting to see them on teams now in the form of some of Roots players, have a lot of players that are recognized as some of the top players in NA, and of course Arctic are really emerging as a team as well. So in this tournament we get to see some of the smaller talent, whereas we're not going to put on display the bigger teams because it is focused on the amateur scene, which is nice to have occasionally, and also giving the prize pool to them. So what we did was they found 16 teams, invited them, and worked out through the group stages. And the stage we're up to now is actually the semifinals. Last night we had a semifinal between Arctic and Typical Mistakes, who I thought were both favorites coming into the tournament. Unfortunately, they met a little bit early, but Arctic, after winning the big point battle that same day, took it home. So they've been playing really well. They're Peruvian side, and I have to say they look amazing. They took down Fnatic EU earlier that day in the big point battle in a best of 3, and then they took a Typical Mistakes 2-0 in a best of 3. And Typical Mistakes, the team had a lot of respect for too. So they're looking really good. And then next week on Saturday there'll be a semifinal between Smeagol, who's formerly Fnatic NA, and Root. And Root have looked really good. There was a fantastic game early in the tournament, over 60 minutes, Root down by everything. No chance they're going to win against Arctic, who, of course, are the hot hand. Yeah. And they somehow came back and based them. It was ridiculous. And I know Frank saw it because he was tweeting about it. Yeah. It was absolutely phenomenal to watch. Nice. And so I'm really excited to see what they can do. And then, of course, the final will be Sunday. It's going to be a best of 5. Winning team will get $500. Losers will get $250. So it's a really awesome deal for these teams to get in, get some extra publicity, be able to play against some teams that are probably more on their level than throwing in and having to play Navi in a best of 5 and saying, good luck, hope you win $500. So it really is a cool experience. And the response from the community so far has been really positive. So we do enjoy bringing it forward as well.
That's sick. What is your, I guess, I don't know if you can do this, but what is your prediction for the finals? Who do you think it's going to be? Which 2 teams, and who do you think is going to win the whole thing?
You can get me in trouble.
Biased.
You can't answer. Don't answer.
I can answer because who cares? But you're giving me in trouble with the players because they're going to be mad at me. I think that the finals will be Arctic versus Root. I would say Smeagol, but they've been dropping the ball a lot recently, and for some reason they can't cope with the Gyrocopter Divine Rapier ever. So it really is a concern for me.
So bad.
I know. And so I'm going to say it's going to be Arctic versus Root, and I think Arctic just playing so well that they'll probably be the favorites to win it. But a best of 5 can absolutely change everything. I mean, we've been seeing best of 1s and best of 3 so far. Dota, a best of 5, even if you go up 2-0, it's a long series in Dota. These are hour-long games sometimes, and it gives a lot of opportunity for teams to feel each other out. So I think it's going to be close. I think we'll probably see 3-2, maybe probably a 3-1 more likely. But either way, we're in for some good games, and I do hope that we get a really competitive final, and I think we will, honestly.
Sure. And I have so much respect for you guys who cast Dota, because I do it on the side sometimes, but as you said, each single game is an hour long. So you're casting one series of best of 5. That's probably at least, 3 to 4 hours. Frank and I, we do StarCraft, but those are just, 20-minute matches each. So huge props to you guys for doing that.
Yeah, they can go on forever sometimes. There are the occasional games that go on and there's still nothing happening. So you're really trying to figure out what to do. It's just like, oh, look, he still has drums. He had those at 20 minutes. It's 60 minutes now. I have no idea what to say. But it really is sometimes a marathon. But the payoff is these games like that Root game I spoke about earlier where 60 minutes, you don't know what's happening. Last night we were in the semifinals and Smash is a player on Arctic. He backdoored the throne and won it for them as Typical Mistakes were pushing for the win after stealing the Divine Rapier from Arctic. So it was like really crazy. So there's a huge payoff, and Dota's always been an exciting game, but there are some in-between periods where you're like, why do I do this?
For sure.
And being a community caster too, I mean, you get asked to do tournaments where you're not really sure of the quality of games that are going to happen, and you end up doing a first round match between, someone like me playing the game and trying to play Ricky, and I don't know the buttons. I spent the first 20 minutes trying to figure out if my mic was on. That was my one Dota game.
Ricky was number 1, man.
That's true. Best Ricky NA.
Let me ask you just a series of questions just for interest. This isn't the quote-unquote lightning round, which I'm sure you've heard of. So, John, don't get mad at me. I'm just genuinely interested. So, tell me, first hero you played in Dota. Dota All-Stars, obviously.
Dota All-Stars. I can tell you my Dota 2 hero in an instant, and it was random. It was an Earthshaker. My Dota All-Stars first hero is... Wow, that's a long time ago. It's probably Rikimaru with a Death Ward, to be honest. It was just so OP. So everyone played Riki, and if you didn't play Riki, you just lost. So I mean, it was before Dota All Stars. It was like one of the first instances of the game. I was a big ROC fan, and then TFT as well. So I was in it for the long haul with Dota as well as Winter Mole and everything like that. Empos. So
Oh,
every single
I
custom
love
game
that
came
post.
out.
So good. And
Yeah,
that
it was
mood,
fun.
what was it? The mood defense was the cow defense one? I don't know. Anyways, okay, so that was question number 1. Number 2, your favorite hero in Dota 2.
Usually, in do you say Dota 1 or Dota 2?
Dota 2.
Dota 2,
You can give me both if you want. That'll be interesting.
it's either Ogre Magi or Kunkka. Probably Ogre Magi just because of the degree of unpredictability, and he's
Oh,
so
man.
funny and just awesome.
So
And
cheap. Those
Dota so
multicasts,
cheap.
man.
I wish he was cheaper. I don't have the kind of luck that makes him cheap. I just sit there and get single cast all game, and I'm
I
really
know.
undervalued.
I feel like every time I play Ogre Magi, I get single cast, but if he's on the
Yeah.
opposite team, every
always
single
getting
cast
butchered.
is like
Yeah, he's one shotting you. Yeah,
He's a fun hero. They're on my top two.
Dota 1, my favorite hero is Pit Lord. He hasn't been ported over yet.
Nice.
He's
Yeah, I love-
really crazy farm, run around, not really kill people, just do other things hero.
And favorite or hero you're most excited to see have yet to come out for Dota 2. And maybe it's Pit.
It could be Pit Lord, it could be one of these heroes. I left Dota All Stars around the time when Heroes of New Earth came out, so there's like 5 heroes or so that I never played, and one of them is called, oh, I can't think of the name. There's the Phoenix, there's a couple others as well, and one of them apparently can challenge heroes to a one-on-one battle. Now I'm gonna have to look it up on Play Dota, but he's probably the one I'm most excited for because I have no idea what
Legion
it's going
Commander?
to entail. Yeah, Legion Commander.
Oh yeah.
I have no
I
idea
think
what it's
he's
going to be
supposed to be
like.
next because he was in the background of the image
not a
when
he anymore, it's a she.
They're saying
well, I
Legion
just
Commander
see-
and Abaddon are probably going to be the next couple, but
Abaddon's
I just don't know what to expect really, so it's exciting.
Good
favorite moment so far in the Canada Cup was it the root thing or something else?
Trying to think. I've probably there was one point in the Canada Cup where a Nature's Prophet sprouted himself and didn't have his treeing ability off cooldown, so he had to stand in his trees for the full duration of the sprout. That was a pretty awesome moment, and I'm glad I caught it on camera. Like that's a big mistake, but yeah, it's probably the root game. It was a really intense game, and close second would be last night's game with typical mistakes almost coming back, and Arctic just really cashing in on a backdoor from their Templar assassins. So those are 2 really good games among a pool of many choices. It's just been a phenomenal turnout overall.
Most broken hero?
Tree and Protector because I hate him, and
Whoa.
he can living armor anyone across the map, so he could sit level 1 in the well and be more effective than some other heroes, really.
I see what you're saying. I feel like there's so many really good choices, and for you to pick Trina, it's just like I don't know. I understand what you're saying. It's just
Yeah, he's so frustrating that I mean he's overpowered, of course. Global abilities never are underpowered. You can say that for certain. And you see Nature's Prophet, of course, get picked up every game because of global TP, and Wisp gets banned out every game because of Relocate, which is another global variation of a TP. But Tree and Protector's ability is just so easy to use. It's spammable. If they raise up the mana cost or lower the shield value, maybe it would be better off. But Ice Frog's been hellbent on getting this hero back for some reason. He's just been constantly buffing him and ignoring heroes like the poor little Ogre Magi who could use this up here.
He's fine, all right? Just get your Eggman Scepter and be quiet. Your nukes, craziness. Yeah, I used to actually play Trian all the time in Dota, the original. I love him so much. I just don't feel he's so strong anymore. But that's pretty much it. I could probably go on because I love Dota too. I played a lot of Dota as well, so I don't want to take away the limelight from John's special speed round. So.
I was just reading chat, and Hydra said you posted the lightning round from last week, and one of the comments was because the lightning round was like 20 minutes long. The person said, "Do you even know what a lightning round means?" The lightning rounds just keep getting longer and longer until they're taking up 45 minutes of the show. So I can get through 10 questions of hypotheticals.
Well, it's your turn now, John, if you want it.
That's
Unless
true.
you guys have any other questions?
Yeah, I'll throw it to the chat just if there are any questions that they want to give. But in the meantime, I will throw it to John to plug anything he's got going on. We know about the Canada Cup, but anything else coming up tournaments you know about, regular things you're a part of, and where we can follow you on Twitter, Facebook, if you still use that, or you got a Twitch
MySpace.
channel, anything like that, MySpace. You on
Yeah, you can follow
ICQ
me
or?
on Twitter at NYJohn You could also follow my Twitch at NYJohn It's just the backslash and then NYJohn And I want to give a shout out to, of course, the Canada Cup, which you mentioned already. Those organizers, those admins have done a phenomenal job. Almost everything being on time is unheard of in Dota. So it really is amazing, especially since the game is so long at times, just to be able to be on schedule. And what they're doing has been great. Also, shout out to American Dota League because I've been on there a lot recently. Be sure to check them out as well. And you'll probably see me co-casting or casting later this week. They have a lot of good teams as well. They throw in a couple of the big three as on top of that. Of course, Liquid, EG, and Dignitas are all in that. So another America's focused league, which is what we want to see more of moving forward, where we can get our, not necessarily a separation, but we get our own spotlights, because all these other leagues are Euro based, and we just love to have competition in the Americas and really ramp up the scene here. So shout outs to them, and shout out to Execute. I see him in chat. Good guy.
Good guy.
And I think that's all I got for now.
I actually
Fantastic.
have another question, John, before
Oh
you
yeah,
go to
go
it.
ahead.
I want to ask, when I caught your cast earlier in the, I think it was, well, I caught one of your casts where you were casting with El President. Who is he, a typical caster, co-caster with you, or who are you co-casting with more common for the event?
Initially I wasn't co-casting with anyone. That's kind of what I do, but he jumped in because he was casting with someone else and they abandoned him, so he just jumped over with me. Typically, it's hard to say. I don't usually have a recurring co-caster. It's if someone's available, but usually you'll see me and Mullet casting some competitions. He's doing ADL right now, I believe. So that's what you'll probably see later on this week. But El Presidente has been a great substitute. He, I'm not sure exactly what competitions he casted before that. I know he casted the Dota Cup before that as well, but he's doing a great job coming in and alleviating some of the pressure, because I was sick a couple of weeks ago, so not really able to cast all the games solo, as it was 6-hour days over the weekend. So
Yeah.
it got brutal at times there, but persevered, and we finally made it back to a happy place. And he has done a great job. He's actually getting surgery, so he's done co-casting for now. We'll see if we can pull someone else in, maybe get a player, if I can sweet talk one of these guys from one of the big name teams, and they can join and give us some extra
Nice.
viewership as well.
Yeah, just like the Home Story Cup, get the players that are out to come in and give analysis. My second question is, and for people who maybe are starting to follow Dota scene or want to get into it, can you tell us a team in North America that, one, a team that is amazing already that we should all know about, and two, a team that we should look for in the future?
A team you should all know about that's amazing would be Dignitas. I think they really have the potential to be a competitor at the TI3. Based off what they did at DreamHack, taking out Navi, that's really no easy feat, as anyone in the history of Dota will ever tell you, including the Asians, which says a lot. But
It was easy for IG, man.
yeah, kind of. But they really have been playing well. They're using slight variations to what we typically see in terms of integrating heroes like Doom, which is a shutdown hero, but not necessarily as much carry potential. And it's really fun to watch because it is a stray from the norm. And for a little while, Dota had got a little bit stale in terms of the heroes we'd see in every single game. So props to them for doing that and doing it with success, because that's, of course, the big issue. We do see a lot of teams throwing out random heroes and failing constantly. And a team that you want to know about, I'd say Typical Mistakes is probably the number one from North America that you'd want to know about, because of the fact they are on the brink of being a competitive team. Their captain, Goody, has been on Gratz Though and Hallyu, a lot of teams that have had a lot of success in the past. I mean, his profile, his Steam profile is just listed with the tournaments he's won, tons of open cups and tons of finishing in the top 3, top 4, top 5. So they really have been successful in the past. They've lost a couple of players along the line to different teams and for whatever reason, but this squad that they put together now does look special, despite the fact that Arctic were able to take them down. Arctic are a team that are on the verge of emerging to be something really big, especially for South America, where we haven't seen them have a stable team for a while. So it's not really that big of a loss when you lose to a team that's on the verge of being that great. So
Right.
I do think they're going to be special sooner than later. Maybe a couple of tweaks in terms of what they're doing in games with hero picks and stuff, but they're close.
Good insights. And Mr. Quinn, you can take it away.
Fantastic. Let's do the video that freezes every week.
Good luck.
Crossed.
Oh, son of a bitch, Nick, you spoke and then it just got ruined. And then Explode will crash for 15 seconds.
Oh,
And then we'll go back.
Execute's so happy. He's like, yes. Like, he made a bet. He made a bet on my points.
Hey, Execute, if you need anybody running production at the next 9 ETS,
Yeah.
John is available. Here's a resume of all that he does.
Just send in that one clip. Boom.
Just a crashing over. No, wait, I got it this time.
It hasn't worked for so long, Hydrolist. It's not even funny. All right, Mr. Hogan, Mr. NYJohn, Mr. Big Apple Player.
No.
Keep going, John.
I know. I was pausing for dramatic effect. Welcome to the lightning round. You've seen the 40 episodes that preceded this one, so I will not bore you with the details. For those of us in chat who are joining us for the first time, I will tell you that the lightning round is this. It is 10 questions coming at you lightning fast that you must answer as quickly as humanly possible. They will take you to the brink and back, and then there once more. They are physically, mentally exhausting. You will pray for forgiveness. You will receive none. Mr. NYJohn, are you ready for the lightning round?
I guess. Let's go for it.
Love that confidence. I asked you before the show if you were a sports fan. You replied yes. You listed off some of your favorite teams. The one that struck my fancy, of course, was your favorite hockey team. I do like both the New York teams. Not a lot, but I do respect them in the grand scheme of things. Definitely an Islanders fan from time to time because they lose constantly to my Montreal Canadiens. But I want to know currently, who is your favorite New York Islander?
That's a very easy question, John. It is Martin. Matt Martin, of course. He's a phenomenal player, a really high energy player off of the bench. He hits more people than anyone else in the league in the past couple of years, and he really does rally the team effectively in the games. I know he isn't the highest skill player like John Tavares is, but I feel like in terms of what he provides to the squad, it is invaluable, and he really is one of the younger players, but still fulfills this kind of captain role in terms of getting people ready. He's the last man out of the locker room, being able to get everyone energized and stuff as well. So he is my favorite player, hands down.
That was the most detailed response I could have imagined. That was
What an
fantastic.
analyst.
2 points. I'm thoroughly impressed. People are always like, hockey.
I'm a big fan. I was at all 3 home playoff games,
Oh,
and they were
nice.
really exciting. 2 of which went to overtime and we lost horribly, but 1 we won.
That's sick. That's sick. I'm very jealous. 2 points for that. 2 points. You're off to a very good
Good
start.
start. Good
Good
start.
start.
Hydrolus ask, are you his agent? Question 2. New York, obviously famous for its delectable treat. Big eat city. I want to know the top 3 pizza joints in NYC.
Who? Okay, there's Under the Bridge, which everyone knows is like one of the most famous pizza places. There's Arturo's Pizza, and I guess the third one I'd say is a personal favorite of mine. It's Anthony's Brick Oven Pizza. It's local to me, and it really is good.
I can't argue with that. I've only driven through New York. I did not stop for pizza. So
It's a
I will
shame.
give you a point for that.
Now you know
Anthony's
where to
Brick
stop.
Oven Pizza. If you want to sponsor a Canadian show that has to do with esports, look no further.
Seriously, they could just sponsor me. I'll mail you guys a slice or something out of the pie. We'll call it even.
It better be hot. 15 minutes or it's free.
You guys said it's hot in Canada, so we'll make it somehow.
Question 3, also a foodie question, but this one has to do with LAN ETS. One of our production guys, Tony Tran, spent the entire weekend complaining about not being able to get poutine. He waited 3-4 months, maybe even a year, to get that poutine, and I don't think he ever made it there. So I want to know from you, you spent the weekend in Montreal, did you eat a poutine while attending LAN ETS?
No.
Oh.
That's an emphatic no. I ate whatever was available for free from the ETS staff, and it was wonderful. Did not have poutine.
Didn't poutine on?
I think they have
Really?
poutine at the...
They may have, but I didn't get it if they did. I didn't really look that much because we were casting a lot, and whenever food was ready, we'd have like 10 minutes to go run over, and I usually just pick those pre-made salads because you could just grab them and run. So it was just about convenience, really.
Fair enough. You don't want to get that like poutine stomach off of during a
Yeah,
6-hour
and
cast.
taking it back to the computer would be awkward, and then eating it while talking would be really difficult.
Sir, you are covered in gravy. Negative a point. You got to eat a poutine when you're in Montreal, regardless of why you're there. So let's see. 3. You're at 2. You're good. No, yeah, 2. You're at 2. Question 4. We always like to dip into the classic games, see how well versed you are in the library of amazing games that have been created through the annals of time. One of the newest technologies coming out right now, it's still in development. We're starting to see some more footage of it, and I'm quite excited for it, is the Oculus Rift. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Oculus Rift. It is a VR helmet, basically, that puts you inside the world. So it's like
It's like the
virtual reality, like goggles, basically. So I want to know, combining the newest technology with some of the oldest games, what is the classic game that should be ported to the Oculus Rift?
Oh man, that sounds really intense. Throwing your head in the middle of some game. I think some people are gonna have trauma and end up hurting themselves. But that aside, a classic game to be ported. How classic are we talking? First generation, like NES, or
you can go NES or
64?
SNES.
Okay, then we'll go with. This is a tough one. I'd say
Sonic?
NES. Oh my God, Ransom City.
River City Ransom?
Ransom.
River City Ransom.
What is
All
this
right.
game?
That game was so fun. You buy the triple kick early on, and you start beating up thugs. You could lift them up as well. It is amazing side-scrolling action.
That just sounds scary. I wouldn't want to be in like a real world type situation. I would want it as like fantasy based as I could possibly get.
Oh,
So
no,
that way
you
when
wanna
I
be
took the
real
goggles
real.
off, I would be very separated from. Like if it was River City Ransom where I was beating up real people, and then I took the goggles off and I saw real people in the street, I'm not sure if I could differentiate between the two realities. Mega Man. Mega Man was the correct answer. No points awarded. Question number 5. I stated earlier that this is the 41st episode of Esports Canada TV, and I do like to give a bit of American trivia to our American guests. I was wrong when I stated that one more and we would be up to
44.
date, because there are 44 presidents. My bad. But since it's the 41st episode, I want to know who is the 41st president.
Oh, let's see.
Hands up. I don't want to see you Googling.
Well, Obama, Bush, Clinton, and Bush again. Is it
Bush
the first
again.
Bush?
Bush again is correct. Bush again. Papa Bush.
Papa Bush.
That's a point. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2,
You should
3.
keep score,
You're at 4.
John.
You're at 4. You're at 4. I
I'll
got the
keep
score,
score.
Captain.
I'm not sure.
Similar sports question. Not entirely sports. The precursor to this, I need to know your favorite Dota 2 team.
Right now it's Rattlesnake Gaming. They're an Asian
Rattlesnake.
team.
Rattlesnake Gaming. Very well. You also stated you were a big Vikings fan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, would you rather have the Vikings win the Super Bowl?
Vikings. They've never won the Super Bowl. Easiest question of my life.
All right. I just had to see if you were a bigger football fan or Dota fan, and now the
Oh,
truth
yeah.
comes out. You just lost so many casting gigs because you don't have the
Yeah.
passion.
Seriously.
The end to that was, or have Rattlesnake Gaming win
Win
TI3, but
Yeah.
you knew where that was going.
Yeah, it has to be the Vikings.
I'll give a point for that because you were sure.
Yeah.
You're at 5. Question 7. Valve has announced they're being sued over the name Dota. They can't use Defense of the Ancients anymore, even though no one actually calls it that. Dota needs a new acronym. What does DOTA now stand for?
Downright outrageous, tremendous, awesome.
2. 2. Is
really
downright
tough because I didn't want to use defensive something.
is downright a hyphenated or just all one word?
We're making it one word.
All
We're just
right.
gonna merge it.
You know?
Downright. You're damn right. That's a good acronym. That's a point. Let's see. You're at 6.
Damn right, downright's good. I like it.
Question number 8. This is a good one. It's another would you rather.
Vikings.
Well, it's not really a would you rather. It's kind of a yes or no hypothetical. Would you take? It would be given to you that you would instantly become the best caster in the entire world. You would do all the major events, the international, everything. But in trade of that, Valve making you that best caster in the world would announce that because you're the best caster in the world, there will never ever be Half-Life 3. And everyone would know that the reason there's no Half-Life 3 is because you are the best caster in the world.
Okay. Could I, if I don't take this, am I still on my normal trajectory? Or am I just
Oh,
obsolete?
would he be allowed to become the greatest caster in the world of his
Yeah.
own, John?
Could I still have like that Ash Ketchum hope in me, or no?
If at any time you became the best caster in the world, Half-Life 3 would cease to
Just
exist, and
dance.
people would know it was your fault.
So I could just be like a half decent caster. I'd have to like, I don't know, throw. in
Well, it
some
would be
big bait
subjective to where if you got in the top 5, and there were people in the world who agreed that you were the best caster, if there were threads on the internet arguing for you being the best caster, Half-Life 3 would cease to exist.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I hope no one sees this, and when Half-Life 3 never comes out, just associated with me. But I actually have never played the Half-Life, so.
Nor have I. Nor have I actually,
Kill
but
him.
I know the popularity of Half-Life.
Yeah, I'd kill him. I'd be the best caster in the world.
Best caster in the world. That's dedication, my friend. I award you a point. The rest of the world praise for your death.
Yeah, seriously.
That is 7. Thank you, Frank. That's very
You're
helpful.
welcome. Hey, no problem.
Question number 9. This is very topical. The NSA has just been outed as spying on the entire American population. I want to know, the NSA is spying on you constantly, watching you cast nonstop. What is that one embarrassing moment in a cast that you've done that you would want the NSA to delete forever?
Oh man, it's tough. Last night, I don't know if the NSA could delete this. If they can give me a rerun, maybe. I was casting, and I have this wireless headset, of course, and someone gave me a message, and they said in your chat, they were like 600 viewers or whatever. They said in your chat, people were just nonstop posting porn links, and I was like, oh no. But I tried to go on my computer and go to my chat, and I couldn't load it on either monitor or any variation of internet. So I had to go back, and in my back of my room I have a laptop. So while casting the picking stage, I'm laying on my bed logging on and making someone a mod. So it was really a poor sequence that didn't start off the game really well for me. And then eventually they were able to get rid of these mysterious porn bandits that just decided to show up because they love Dota. But it was definitely.
I'd love if there was a co-caster at that point, or you had your mic muted where it was, "Hey John, someone's posting a bunch of porn links in the chat," and you just got up, went back to your bed, and opened up your laptop. Fantastic. Hilarious situation. That's a point for sure. You're at 8. You're at 8 out of a possible 9 right now. That is quite good, especially for an American on our show. Not to say that they typically don't do well, but I'm typically quite biased, where I make it extra difficult for them. Question number 10. I'm 80 years old, possibly Caucasian, possibly female. I've only ever played checkers and maybe some Old Maid. Explain Dota to me. I've never played a video game before. Explain Dota to me like I'm 80.
Okay, lady. Dota is a game. It's on a computer. It's essentially basketball, throw in a bunch of trees, and try and kill each other. There you go.
I understand.
There's an arena. It's 5 versus 5. We number our roles similarly, and you just need trees and weapons. That's it.
I
LeBron James
broke.
would be like the tree and protector of Dota right now. I'd want him to be nerfed.
Oh man, that would have been a good question. You should have had him make certain players be a certain hero. That'd be an interesting one. Who would be Tiny? Big Baby Davis? No, Shaq used to be Tiny. Anyways, go on. Go on with the story.
No, that's fine. That was the final question.
Nice. What does he get? Does he get a point?
I don't know. I feel like I would have broke a hip during that explanation. It seemed quite complicated. What is a computer? What are roles? No points awarded. You walk away with 8 points, which is a fantastic outing. That is enough. Let me check the full list of people who have participated in the past. Sort that. Collate. Top scores. Yes, that qualifies you for our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year for the lightning round, where we bring back our top performers throughout the year to face off in a battle to see who is the best lightning round participant. So congratulations.
Cool. I'll have to study up and practice to get ready for that.
Don't get ready too much. It's not actually a real thing.
I know, but I'm going to be here. We're going to host it just for me now.
He's going to make you.
I'm going to be here.
Oh, now it's a thing.
Whenever I pull that joke, the person just usually says, "Oh, okay."
I've already booked it on my calendar.
Dear God, could you let us know when it is?
It's late September. Don't worry. You have time.
I'm very much ready for that. Thank you, John Hogan. You've been an excellent guest. You have a silver tongue. And I loved mashing tongues with you for the last hour. There's got to be a better way to say that.
Yeah, I don't think you said that right at all. That must be an Eastern,
think about it.
It's
At
an
the
Eastern
Lightning Round
thing.
Championships, you can say it better.
Yeah.
Oh man, we went out drinking and we mashed our tongues for hours.
Episode 100. Can we all promise right now, episode 100, we actually do have the Lightning Round Tournament of Champions? It's 5 questions, and I just keep bringing on 2 people, and it's just 5 questions, lightning fast.
Yeah, we'll have to make it more lightning fast though, because there's a lot of people that will have to.
More lightning fast than slow.
Yeah, more lightning, less non-fast.
Yeah, I know, but I want to have good questions and good answers, right?
Oh, so you think your questions were good because you said them slowly, John? Is that right?
It's not that I say them slowly. I'm looking for fast answers.
Just trolling you, John.
You're doing a terrible job.
I like how you preface all your questions. It's like, it's a lightning round, right? But you come for your, all right. You told me this. I was thinking about this.
Well, it would just be weird if I was like, who's your favorite New York Islander? It would just be like, I mean, the chat wouldn't know what to do.
They'd be totally lost.
John, I do want to give you the chance to plug anything, say anything you wanted to, thank different people in your life, your mother if she's watching, anything like that.
She better be watching, man.
I don't think so. I hear a lot of noise going on.
I like how you looked over your shoulder like she would be standing there.
How's your cat? I have a couple of chairs behind me, and there's my family just watching.
There's a little audience.
That would be really cute, wouldn't
made
it?
it, John.
Slightly creepy. I'll give a shout out to myself at NYJohn TV on Twitter. Be sure to follow me there. Also, check out the Dota 2 Canada Cup. There's a ticket in the store for only $1, and that directly supports Dota2.ca. So if you can muster up the buck, it really does help because it gives them those hard numbers. They can show that to sponsors and make it bigger and better next time around. Also, check out ADL this week, American Dota League. I know someone in chat's pissed because it's American Dota League, but we do include Canadians. There's no exclusivity clause where we can't include anyone from Canada. It's just the Americas in general. So there's that. And shout out to you guys for letting me on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
You're obviously very insightful in Dota, and we'd love to have you back in the future. You could even be some sort of Dota correspondent, talking about all the Dotas. So looking forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, when big things happen in the Dota scene, please come back and tell us all about them.
Love to.
Feel free to stay on for the next 5 minutes or completely peel. We're just going to plug different events we have going on and then wrap up the show.
Cool.
Sounds good. So guys, big events coming up this weekend. Of course, MLG is going down in Anaheim, and there are a ton of competitors competing for that. It's the first open bracket they've had in a while. They've moved away from the invite-only scene, so that is going down, and we have some barcrafts running across Canada. The first one I do want to plug, of course, is in Toronto, because it's the center of the universe.
Why not East Coast?
Because I'm not affiliated with anything right now on the East Coast. I wanted to run one this
Well, look at that
time.
poster.
I know. I wanted to run one this time, but I'm going to be in Ottawa and Toronto that weekend. But I'm leaving Toronto the day of Barcraft, getting into Ottawa, and I just found out that there is no Ottawa Barcraft this time around, and I was very sad to hear that. So, shame on you, Ottawa. Run a Barcraft. I joined their Ottawa Barcraft group, and there's like 500 people in it. I'm just like, someone please,
Yeah, I
while
heard
I'm gone,
good things, but I don't
run a
know what-
Barcraft. But it is a Canada Day weekend, so I can see where they're coming from.
John,
So it looks like I'm going to have to find something else to do during my time there.
Mr. Hogan, how's the esports scene, like, at least in New York? Do you go out much for, like I don't know what Dota likes to call pub stops or whatever. I mean, do you go out for many of those, or do you go to bar crafts at all? Or I'm sure New York has a really good one because it's New York, but from where you are, how is it?
The only thing I've ever been to really esports related was LAN ETS, so I haven't,
snap.
but I did see
30th, man.
recently there was a barcraft somewhere local to me, about a town or two over, and I think they got a good turnout. It looks like they got a pretty good turnout, so you know the possibility is there to try and turn that into a Dota thing eventually if we want to for the international or something. But it certainly is possible to go to the city where there are more barcrafts and of course more possibilities for pub stomps as well. So there's a lot of opportunity in the area considering I'm only 30 minutes outside of the city, so it really is available if I want to try and pursue it, but I haven't yet.
I'd imagine it's huge. You'd imagine New York, it's like something crazy. But sorry, I didn't mean to stop the plug train, John.
It's all good. The plug train will chug on. UBCAA StarCraft presents MLG Anaheim Spring Championships at the EXP Restaurant and Bar in downtown Vancouver. This is that cool like video game themed bar,
Yeah,
I believe,
heard about this.
and I've heard good things. I know people that weren't esports aficionados known to me that have moved out to Vancouver, and they talk all about this awesome place called the EXP Restaurant, and they go to a bunch of different gaming events there. So I'm happy to see that has taken off because that's been a thing in the works for a while. So congratulations to them.
Are they still doing that unlimited like energy drinks, or that's them, isn't it?
Oh, Unlimited NOS? That was for a different event, I believe.
Oh my bad. All right.
Or no, it was dollar NOS. You had to donate to get it.
I see. All right.
Yeah. As well, Victoria Barcraft is happening on Sunday as well. I'm not sure the place and time on that, but we can find that out on the Esports Canada Facebook page. As well, Calgary, Edmonton, Waterloo, Windsor, and Halifax are all holding Barcraft. So if you are in any number one of those cities, please, please, please do attend. They're going to be awesome. I'm sure they'll have cheap drinks and food for all the little kiddies that show up. As well, the OCN event, I can't plug it because I don't know too much about it, but Frank and Nick, you have been involved with that. So Frank, can you plug the OCN event coming up whatsoever?
Yeah, the OCN
Or
event is
Nick?
happening
Nick wants
on-
it. Nick wants it.
You want it? I'll find the poster while you're doing it. Okay, Nick, you find the poster while I'm doing it then. So the OCN LAN is coming up on July the 6th, so very soon. It's supposed to focus on Dota, CSGO, and TF2, so it's very much Valve centered, and we apparently got some Valve swag added. It's in Toronto. It's going to be downtown. Tickets I think are already sold out. I think if you can get a ticket, you're super lucky. So if Nick is able to find that poster and get up a link,
I got it
which think he did. Yeah, you guys check it out if you still want to buy a ticket if you're in the Toronto area. OCN throws like the best lands in Toronto. You never leave unhappy. You leave well fed and well gamed. On the side, obviously, I mentioned the games that they're focusing on, but on the side, they're also doing a StarCraft 2 invite. So I've been talking to some really good players in the Toronto area to get in on that, and we're really excited for that as well. I don't want to reveal the players yet because we just want to make sure we have our set number, but maybe by next episode, we'll have that for you. That'll be really cool. It'll all be streamed. Everything will be streamed from that day. It should be some super cool action. Yeah, we're super excited to be a part of it. Huge thanks to the OCN community and Nick from OCN for having us and letting us help with the event. And yeah, it's going to be really sick. There's going to be like filming and craziness. It's going to be great.
And as well, if you haven't heard about this now, you've been living under a rock. Icy Cup is coming up July 13th and 14th in Toronto at Ken Silva's house. You can't come unless you were invited because it is a holy stroke. It is a invite-only tournament in the same vein as Home Story Cup, and we've been raising money all month long as a prize pool to give to our fantastic players. So we have Drunken Boy, Massa, Combat X, Henderlisk, Astoji, Believe, Rise, and Tubby the Fat. That was 8. Nailed it. And there's 14 days left to donate. Please head to Indiegogo. We're going to plug that all over our Facebook and Twitter for the next 2 weeks. So please go there. You can watch a video that details everything that's going on. But it's 2 days of awesome StarCraft action with a bunch of interviews, things going on with the players, fun stuff. They're going to cast some games for us. And there's a tons of perks that you can donate towards too as well.
Yeah.
There's mouse pads, coaching, shoutouts, and I believe there's still 5 invites left if you do want to come attend the event. If you're in the Ontario area or you're willing to travel like I'm doing, then you can come and.
Did you buy your ticket, John? You can't come.
I did actually buy my ticket, so yeah. So that stream is going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. We're going to have a ton of fun, and yeah, that all goes down July 13th, 14th. So please go to Indiegogo and donate what you can, $1, $5, 10,000. It all goes towards the players, whether it's in the form of hamburgers, beer, or the prize pool. So please do that. So head to Barcraft this weekend, and then OCN the weekend after that, and then Icy Cup the weekend after that. And I think I might be involved with some WCG stuff either the weekend after that or the weekend after that. So I still have to hear about that. It's going to be some sort of Atlantic Canada qualifiers that I may possibly be running here in St. John. And then I have another LAN coming up August 10th and 11th. Not all the details have been announced for that yet, but it's actually a pretty huge one in the capital of New Brunswick, which is anything but huge, but it's going to be a great event, collaborating with Jack and Steven, our guests from last week, on that, as well as Mike Daniels out of Halifax. So we're just hammering out the details for that. We're looking to launch everything officially coming up on not this Wednesday, but next, so please stay tuned for that if you are in the New Brunswick area, which you're probably not.
And are you guys talking about the Bella Line Fiber Op?
Yes, Bella Line Fiber Op Cup. They've announced that Dota, John, ears open on this one. Dota will be a part of the upcoming Fiber Op Cup, which is going to be, I want to get the dates correct for this, it's the end of July. July 27th and 28th will be the finals, and qualifiers will be held the 22nd through the 25th of July. So every night starting at 6 Pacific or 10 o'clock Atlantic. I'm the only one on Atlantic time. Or 9 o'clock Eastern. 9 o'clock Eastern. Because 9 o'clock Eastern is the qualifiers Monday through Thursday. So it'll be StarCraft, League of Legends, and Dota. So you just have to win or place in the top 2 depending on the game for the qualifiers. So you win Monday, you're good to go for the finals. On Saturday is going to be Dota and League of Legends, and then Sunday is going to be StarCraft. And so we bring in a ton of cool people for that. Nick and Frank cast for StarCraft, as well as guys from Lag TV, and I'm hoping to bring on John for the Dota portion, as well as Rapid is going to be doing the League of Legends portion. So please, 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 at least participate in the tournament. It's open to Canadians only. Sorry, John. And so if you're in Canada, anywhere in Canada, please participate. It is free to enter, and there's a ton of great prizes, and we give away some pretty sweet prizes on stream as well.
They haven't opened qualifiers. Like, can you sign up?
Nope, nothing's open yet. We're looking to open the registration, I think, this weekend, because we're trying to collaborate with Barcraft so that we can publicize it at Barcraft and say, hey, go register for this immediately.
That's exciting.
It is. Big things.
Big plays.
Big plays. That about does it, guys. Next week, our guest Frank is Sadokist, correct?
It should be.
Should be. Next week, no. We're not going to have a show next week because it's Canada Day. I'm going to be away. People are going to be celebrating, and we're going to celebrate the birth of our nation by blowing up a small part of it. So if there's fireworks in your city, go watch those. They'll be just as exciting as our beautiful faces on any given Monday night. Thank you to our guest this evening, John Hogan. Next week it's going to be Sadokist, a good friend of mine, and he knows John as well. He's been casting some Dota as well as CSGO. So if you're into either of those games, do please tune in. You can always catch us twitch.tv/EsportsCanadaTV. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/EsportsCanada, or on Twitter @esports_Canada. And as well, join our website, esportscanada.ca.com or .org. So we own them all because we're what, Frank?
Because we're baller. I was just thinking that this guy in chat FPS, is that just John smirking? Because he's all talking about how amazing John is.
I think it's some guy named Hugo.
Yeah,
really
number one
awesome,
fan.
Awesome dude. He does production for IGL and stuff.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
You were supposed to say baller as shit, Frank.
Oh, well, I don't like to swear, John, so okay.
Well, grow up. You're an adult now. Thank you, everybody. Follow everyone on Twitter. Just everyone. Not even us specifically. Just everyone.
Everybody. Follow everybody.
See you next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
What's
Thanks,
up?
John.
I'm NYJohn. I'm American, and even I watch Esports
You can
Canada
talk.
TV.
It's cool. I don't mind.
It's not.
During the state. That's Sting. That was